Hello, everybody. Welcome, people on the Wisdom and LinkedIn, YouTube, and my Facebook page, Conquer Burnout, and here on the Clubhouse. Um, Hope you're all doing well, and some will join later. That's okay. So, we're continuing our series on practical spirituality, and I was inspired by something I heard in the recent times about. Uh, how the masses were awakened with this spiritual slogan of Swami Vivekananda in India. He was here in uh, United States for about 5 6 years maybe, and he did an enormous volume of work here. Yeah, and then he went back to India, and then there he gave the call that you have a glorious spiritual past and awaken to that. Don't be in the superstition, don't be in this casteism and divide yourself, and don't be ignorant and all that. That really applies to individual people too. That's why I picked that up, and then I said, yeah, how many of us can really say that we are aware, knowledgeable, and really thinking about things in a we're not superstitious, not some kind of hung up with the fundamentalism and all that. All religions, right? It's not just one particular religion. It was there. And now, being a modern global citizen and really accept all the cosmopolitan nature of something like a New York or Chicago, where I lived for 5 years in New York and 8 years in Chicago, and both are very cosmopolitan, and they were very open for exploring things in a nice way, right? So that kind of thing. Um, and my tradition of conducting meetings where people come gather together, not to dominate with opinions or egotism, but more like a seeking for some truth. And in the process, just want to put their mind and thoughts and everything towards that. And in the process, they kind of discover something very valuable within them. That is the glorious entity that you could discover. And then once you are alive to that, life is very wonderful. That's the purpose of the ancient wisdom, to transcend the suffering by really knowing who we are, right? So that's what I wanted to focus on today. It's not that everybody has to be like that, but it's just how wonderful it is when people turn inward with what they call in Sanskrit mumuksha, that is, quest for the truth, whatever it is, existential issues or science or spiritual quality, or whatever. You may have some existential questions as to who are we, where are we going, what's going to happen to us after death, and why is there so much strife in the world. Uh, all those existential questions are very much investigated by the ancient cultures in a meaningful way, and we don't have to follow them. We just understand the wisdom that come out of that kind of search, kind of engulfs us, and then kind of encourages us to really on that kind of quest, right? And then anybody can discover the truth for themselves. So uh, when Vivekananda said sometimes, if only you knew who you are, that's what the question he wanted to ponder. And also he called people like amrutasya putra. That means nectar of immortality was there with them when they really discovered their true selves, right? So for that, nothing like some text or some intellectual understanding or conceptual thinking or logical thinking, but having the ability to be able to be aware, to be intuitive and to turn inward without really having a lot of outward activity. And with that kind of thing, they slipped into this awareness that is beyond thought and it is intuitive. You grasp it, right, with your intuition. It's like a more like a sixth sense. We know what's really going on, and we cannot express it, but we know what is it. We grasp it, right? So that kind of thing. In that intuitive awareness, they discovered many great truths that are already there. He kind of discovered them, uncovered them, so that's what Vivekananda was complaining about the Indians who had such a glorious heritage in the past, but were not able to. The reason was it is a colonized nation, and colonized nations are really a lot of their cultures were kind of torpedoed, and they basically don't want any of those colonies to be thinking for themselves, to be having an identity with their own culture. They don't want them to be creative, basically. And then they really declared war on each culture that they occupied. There was actually a historical document that they captured on of the some how they wanted to occupy colonies like India. They said we will erase their uh, culture. That means they won't have any identity. They will forget, and that's the fate of the yoga in India too, because people forgot what great science it was and how it can improve the real health of the people, right? Now people think yoga is like a bodily exercise, like a gymnast, right? That's not so at all. It's a much holistic, much more deeper, involves all facets of the human being, including the body, including the mind, including the spiritual and all that, right? Especially the mind. People have much more understanding of what thoughts are, how thoughts arise, how thoughts go on influence us, how thoughts can be at bay, and how thoughts can be controlled. And you can make the mind as a slave, a good slave, but never allow it to be master. It becomes master, the mind will be ruling over us, right? So that kind of thing. So when I heard that statement, like, how is that you guys are not really getting into your real glory? People were kind of stunned about it. They were temple going, they were worshipping, they were doing all that. But that's not what Vivekananda was talking about. He was talking about how come you don't realize your own inner excellence, inner completeness, purity. They call that purna, that is perfectly complete. That has come from the completely, so something very complete, and so you are also complete. That kind of thing he talked about. You know what? That is relevant even today. That's why I'm bringing this topic. Uh, People kind of hung up on some conclusions, assumptions out of their ignorance lots of times, what they are, how they are, and then they go on in the life doing that, which is not really what the human being is taken birth for. Because you are missing out on something very valuable, and also you are missing out on the chance of transcending the suffering and experiencing the wonderful joy. That's the effect of having this kind of understanding and knowing your inner self, right? And that is kind of neglected presently because people are focusing on things like all outward activity, doing stuff, but not about the being. What does it require is stop working at least twice a day or once a day, and then sit down and close your eyes and reflect on your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own inner workings, right? And that kind of thing is very nurturing and very kind of detoxifying for you in a way, right? Otherwise, the same things will continue on and they become stronger and stronger. And later on, people feel like, oh, I'm not able to get out of it. Take, for example, depression, right? Usually, depression starts with a one negative thought. And then you go and repeat with somebody thinking that by just letting it out, I'll feel better. But then that person kind of listens to you or not listen, whatever. But you have repeated it. By repeating it unconsciously like that, you will reinforce that negativity into deeper and deeper and deeper, right? Then what happens? That becomes stronger, and that is the mechanism how the mental diseases really fortify themselves, right? So once you understand that, then you will be able to understand how do I really come to this negative thoughts, identify them, and change them within myself. You know, that is very possible. That is what we teach about a lot of students about. Gather thought or your thoughts together is the first step, and then try to follow one thought at a time and come to one thought. Then identify the thought whether it is negative or positive. If it is negative, don't go on living it, don't go on encouraging it, but then change that to something positive. And then go on the positive. And if you reinforce the positivity all the time, then that becomes very, very much therapeutic for your own otherwise depression, right? So it's just knowing the mechanism of how thoughts feed on themselves and become really problem, and also knowing the solution for it and then doing that kind of meditation, right? Then you will be okay. But then a lot of people don't know, don't take the time to slow their thought down and then identify what's going on with them. It's a kind of reflection. What's going on with my life? What's going on within me? Why I'm responding such in ways to certain things? All that self knowledge, all that self knowing results in really changing you from not attempting anything at all. So that is missing in the modern life because we are occupied, occupied, occupied. We are doing stuff, you know. But that's not what is needed. What's needed is take a break and turn to your being and know what is going on within you. All the being will be evident when you have all these thoughts and feelings and everything subside. You know, then once you discover that, then you will discover your mind is your instrument, body is your instrument, and then you won't get caught up in them. You don't get identified with them. You identify with your real self, and that real self uses these mind and body as instruments. So that is the glory of discovering what you are within. And that's what Vivekananda was talking about to the Indians after he returned from um, here, West, right? He did a wonderful work in the West, and he established a big retreat like in New York. And then he kind of wrote books of yoga on all the four types of yoga. And he taught Advaita Vedanta, and he kind of helped people like the who is that Rockford. I think he was the one who is giving a lot of money to the foundations after he met Vivekananda. Rockefeller. So he was a miserable man, Rockefeller. He made a lot of money, but he made a lot of enemies. A lot of people are against him. So he walked into Vivekananda one time, and he marches it down into without permission, and then he says he is miserable and all that. Then he doesn't know what to do with all that money that he made. Then Vivekananda tells him, why don't you give it up, some of it, to other people that are in need? So he kind of goes away, and then a few days later, he comes with a bunch of receipts and then throws it. Vivekananda says, are you happy now? I gave a lot of money to a lot of people away. Then Vivekananda says, you should be happy and thankful to me because you are the one who is miserable and I showed you a way, and that you are now. really enjoyed the effects of giving it away, you know. And then he was a changed man, Rockefeller. He established these foundations. To this day, not only his foundation, many other foundations, people who had made a lot of money, they were kind of establishing these to give it to public charities like PBS channel that I watch every day. That runs on the foundations mostly. Some public money is there, but most of it's on foundation. This is a real story. It happened, you know. So there are so many contributions like that to him. But if you at all read two books from uh, Vivekananda, one is about karma yoga, action yoga, and other one is Raja Yoga. That is the how to focus your mind, how to be concentrated. That is the one, right? If you are working as Karma Yoga, where you are working because you want to serve, not to really amass money, and that is kind of unselfish one, right? Purifies your heart. And if you are focused and then really paying attention to everything, then the Raja Yoga is working, and then your mental focus is very good. So a purified heart and a focused mind, if you have them, then you will know what is the real Gnana Yoga, knowledge yoga. You know what is the ignorance I have, what is the knowledge I have. All those things will be much evident to you when you do. He did those works, and then he said, all youth, all young people should read these books. I totally agree. They should read and they should absorb what the wisdom is. It can really shape a very good personality if you do those two books. He wrote them in New York, you know, a series of lectures on them too. Very wonderful books. You know, I know Raj Yoga is one of the best systems known to mankind about concentration and focus. So everybody will be benefited by that. And the karma yoga really helps you to go and serve and not expecting any return, and then you will contribute wherever you go, and you will enhance kind of unity, equality, and also generous nature of our work, and make a lot of friends and love and all that. Anyway, those two he wrote. So in that context, he said, all these traditions have come from centuries ago. The yoga and all those things. Why are you not doing? That was the question with the Indians at the time by Vivekananda. Only a few people are were oriented. Even to this day, the large percentage of them don't know what they really are, what is their real meaning. You know, they may be doing a physical yoga a little bit, and then they may be doing some breathing and some kind of quieting down meditation, but they don't know really on a general basis. People don't know the significance of that. But then why it is so relevant to us right now is we are inundated with the information age. I do deal with big data. I do deal with a lot of EMR stuff and interviews and all that. But because I understand what is yoga through the mental phase, okay, like a Raja Yoga, which is king of yoga, which kind of studies your own mind by your own mind. That's kind of strange, but that is what actually it is. But once you grasp that, then you don't have to think continuously. You can take break, you can make it silent, and in the silence you are revamped. So that's why you don't have this brain fog, information overload, overwhelm, stress, and burnout. All that. So when I really help my colleagues with this burnout, usually I tell them take some breaks, have some nature scene, go out and have some relationship with the nature. If it is very cold, you can have inside plants or whatever, or you can look at the nature and then you can just. The important thing is don't have to make your mind go on continuously thinking. That's the one you want to take care of. So I can watch for you. I am mostly silent. Only when I want to use my mind, it comes in, and then I kind of do what I need to do, and I end it. That is a big deal. People don't end it, they allow it to grow into a network, and then they suffer the overload, information overload. And that's going to be more as we go into deeper into AI, because AI is going to do a lot of cognitive work. is going to do a lot of conceptual work and all that. Large, they are doing that, right? LLMs right now they are doing that, but once the mind is taken over by that, what are you going to do as a human being? That's a big question. You can take care of yourself, you can protect yourself, and be very efficient and productive using the computer power. That's no problem. But how do you protect your mind? That's what I'm getting at. So, what Vivekananda said at the time, that you have to awaken to your inner glory, your traditional Vedanta or Advaita Vedanta and all that. He talked about that right after he came from United States. That's where I'm beginning and talking about that. Hello, Prasad and Santosh. Welcome. So, in this practical spirituality we were talking about, is more like not buried ourselves in the faith or fundamental thinking or asking people to follow such a religion. That's not my aim. My aim is how can we really encounter the problems of modern life with some hacks of ancient wisdom. That works very well for me, and that's what I'm trying to share here. Hi, Santosh. How are you?
I'm good, doctor. I'm good, very good. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi,
Very
Jacob.
good and beautiful. Yeah, you're saying I'm just listening. I just joined just now. I was just in different room and talking about and finished the mindset and all these things,
Yeah.
mostly about business. And when I come here, I see different and
Yeah.
you talk different topics. That is really amazing because
Yeah.
when we talk about the business and you talk about achievement and all these things, but these
Yeah.
things are very important for us. Like so far, I haven't done any yoga and all these things, but I have been knowing from a lot of people that yoga is benefiting a lot of people for longevity, for
Yeah.
clearing their mind and concentration and a lot of things. But so far, I haven't done any such.
Yeah.
I'm more on listening and reading and trying to live in a holistic approach of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever you were saying is perfectly right. Like recently, I met one guy. He was my invite here at home, and he looked like a very young man, but he was very older than me
Ah.
by age. And I had asked with him what are the reason, and then he started to tell about all this yoga and all these things. And yeah, it's pretty great. Like I don't know when I'm gonna start, but so far I'm okay.
Yeah.
These, I think even I don't do yoga, but I'm very fit and fine, healthy. I do all these. I'm
Yeah.
also good habits. I don't have any,
Yeah.
strong habits to do living life.
Yeah.
I still live very holistic way, along with my business, my family, and my lifestyle. I'm on that. Perfectly fine whatever I do, and yeah, hearing from you, who have years of experience in exercise and all this yoga and all that. Really great to be here, Doctor.
Yeah. Well, yoga is a lifestyle. If you understand that, a lot good will happen to us in these modern times. Um, I have some program. I have several programs. One program I have is what is the benefit of deep stretch aligning with the deep breathing. You know, that itself can take away a lot of stress that or tension that we accumulate in the body during the day, because so many things come at us, right? So much tension attacks of some people or body language. To whatever it is, we kind of cringe and react a little bit. Suppose somebody is unpleasant, we kind of cringe in the body, and that itself produces some tension in the body. So, understanding the effect of the body on the mind and the mind on the body, it's a simple thing like that will help you a lot to not to accumulate stress during the day. you know for example, if you know you are in touch with your body and you are aware of what is happening in your mind, you can avoid a lot of this sympathetic overload, we call it. We imagine dangers, we imagine a lot of problems in the workspace, then we kind of accumulate that kind of tension in the body. By deep breathing, what happens is your opposite nervous system, the sympathetic overload, parasympathetic nervous system will be stimulated, and you will not have the same stress hormone levels as you otherwise you would. That's why I kind of teach doctors and nurses how to have stretches while they're standing, and also I call it office yoga in the chair, how they can do for the lower back and also the neck and shoulders where the tension really accumulates, right? And also understanding why do I have to react to everything like that, and those kind of simple things help them to reduce chronic stress in the long run. But they have to be aware of it and then do it, like a matter of fact. For example, we have to drink water, and initially you may have to be deliberate about it, but later on you get used to it and you'll be drinking water, without really even thinking about it like that. If you can know the tension that you are accumulating because of your mental reactions in the body, or you are assuming certain postures in the body, that's why you have some mental tension too. Those kind of simple things, if you understand, that will be very good. But first of all, your body and mind identification is the problem. You are much deeper than that. That's what the ancients talked about. You are not the body and mind. You are that eternal inner being or soul or heart, whatever you call it. Uh, and then you will be able to handle these instruments much better. Otherwise, they become masters. Body become your master or mind become your master, then you are in trouble. Making them slaves and then being in charge of them, that's what I'm talking about. So that inner glory is that is the spiritual glory where your perfection is within and you are kind of playing with the instruments all the time. Hi Jacob, how are you?
I'm very regular, Dr. Rao. You know me. How are you?
I'm okay. So what do you think what I'm talking about?
I have no thoughts. I drove a helicopter today.
Good. You're like a bird. You can see the world from up there. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and you can feel the wind.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like Pocahontas, baby, bro.
Very good. The eagle when it flies in the sky, uh, you know it kind of flies that way and this way. And there was a good book written by J. Krishnamurti on that, Flight of the Eagle. What he was saying is, look at the eagle, it flies, but it doesn't leave a remnant of path. It goes and all that, but then there's no like a jet plane going there. The smoke will be forming the path, but not the eagle. What's the significance of it is, if you see a tree and then you enjoy that and then you forget it, that's fine. But if you are carrying all the impressions, everything about the talk later on, and then make it a habit, then that is the problem. So that's why
it's difficult to carry a tree, right?
yeah, no, 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 but the thought,
Unless you're the god of war. I
no,
played
no,
that game yesterday.
no, no, no. Listen,
He throws trees.
no, no. What I'm saying
Not
is,
like Paul Bunyan, bro.
yeah, the thought of the tree you should not be carried. Okay, so you cannot carry a tree. You know that. But what I'm saying is, how our thought
That's what
behaves.
Anoop says. He's like, hold your breath. I can't hold it for you. Hold your breath.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, you got to hold it for at least 1 minute in a day, then you will increase your life by so. There's a big science about that. What is this? Is Flight of the Eagle. That is a very good book to pay attention to. Okay, he talks about.
I only see the movie documentary. Who's the author of the book?
This is J. Krishnamurti. He's a. I think he will be above your head because he's a very.
I would love for someone to be above my head.
Yeah,
Please.
you will be bowled over. First of all, you will not be able to understand because if you come to that with a cognitive mind, you can't understand him. So this is because we said flight, then I remembered all that. But that's a wonderful view, right? When you go up, you can see J. Krishnamurti.
Krishnamurti.
He is considered one of the brightest minds of this century. So uh, David, you know what? If you have a chance, look at this movie, Future of the Man by J. Krishnamurti and David Bohm. David Bohm is a contemporary of Einstein. Okay, so he's a wonderful guy too, the David Bohm. Mhm. You, Santosh, have you heard of?
Who's the wonderful actor? Einstein?
No, no, no. David Bohm is a scientist, physicist.
David Guam.
Bohm, B-O-H-M, Bohm. Both are.
Guam?
Yeah, anyway, let's not deviate from this. So it's a good thing that you have flown today. There's a wonderful eagle point of view that you can have, and then it's wonderful to feel like you are flying in there and so much freedom and all that. I always liked flights like that, small flights. I used to go on with friends. They are wonderful. You can go to especially if you go in the nature with all the hills and rivers going down, and they are wonderful, beautiful. Live, they're beautiful. It's not seeing in the pictures, but live, go and do that. Wonderful. Yeah, I was playing with a pilot's license when I was in Chicago. I almost was there, but I did not get to finish it because of the lack of time. And later on, I lost interest. But at the time, I was almost another few months. I think I would have got the license at the time.
Hey, I think you still have a few months in you, don't you, Dr. Al?
Yeah, yeah, I do. But I did have the same urge like I had at that time. I was only 30, 40, I think, at the time.
That
So,
momentum, Dr. Rao, that momentum is there, right? When
yeah,
you were thinking to become pilot, that momentum was there. When the momentum you don't do it, it
yeah,
doesn't work later on, right? It doesn't matter how much time you
yeah,
have. That's the thing.
yeah.
So, but it applied to me like when I was learning Chinese language, when
Mm,
I was just completed my MBA back
mm,
in Nepal,
mm.
99, I wanted to learn Chinese language because the benefit, like I can speak fluent Hindi and I can good in English, Nepali, and Chinese, so I could be a good businessman in future, right?
Yeah, Chinese
Whenever
is
I have no
hard.
opportunity to teach in university, so I have to sacrifice
Yeah,
the thing. That's why I never learned that. So I now, but I don't love to learn. So that's the thing about your thing, isn't it, Dr. Rao?
yeah. They say Chinese is very hard, right, Santosh? It's not that easy to learn.
I know it's hard, but after
Mm.
that, like fast, like a little bit of general conversation we have around Shikmina, these
Yeah,
general
yeah.
conversation I was good, but but later, I became a little bit greedy, or not greedy, like I was struggling, and
Yeah,
decided to get some money, then I sacrificed my desire into the money, but
yeah,
later I had money, then I never come with that interest,
yeah,
but still, but now there are so much things to learn. That's why interest is gone now. But
yeah.
I like to learn different languages.
That's wonderful, Santosh, because if you really know the yoga concentration, you can learn these things much easier because as you learn, you dump the wastage. So your mind is cleaner and cleaner, and that's why you are able to concentrate a new language, new music, new text, or anything that you read. All that is much more because the focus will be that much better with yoga, not only physical yoga but also mental yoga. Even the physical yoga also, we teach people to be aligned, not only the body, mind, and the breathing. So you will be doing without moving the spine that much. So that way you will get what is called sthira sukham asana. That means comfortable but stable posture that you got to achieve in each asana and then maintain that for a while taking deep breaths and aligning the breathing to your mind and to your body. So kind of you achieve equanimity much faster that way, and you can learn and you can understand things much faster, because that's why the other day I was really listening to a guy. He's 105 years old, but he is talking like he's 50 years old, and he's sitting there very active, very involved in the discussion and all. It was wonderful to see him. And he was telling about the secrets of longevity, what we should do, and all of that. That was a very wonderful thing. So um, I think subcontinent, a lot of people are taking it up now, the yoga, which is good. Of course, a lot of Americans, there are, I think last time we counted like a 14, 15 million people in America are practicing yoga. And also this,
You're right, Dr.
Yeah,
Nepal, right?
yeah, yeah. I know.
We share the border with India. And,
Yeah,
this Ramdev and a lot of Sadhguru and all these people, the yogis and all, they
yeah,
frequently visit there and they
yeah,
organize a massive event back there. And even like when Ramdev was first time in Kathmandu
yeah,
during 2000, I was there in the Sudik Hill, the main junction of Kathmandu, where all
yeah.
the army plays their parade and all. I was in the first lane because I was in advertising and marketing. Definitely, we got to pass this and all. We are event
Mm,
organizer. I was the first. We were carrying the, you know.
mm,
It
yeah,
was a great experience at that time. We are sitting in Nepal and Ramdev is doing yoga, practicing. People are doing, and he frequently visits Nepal. And I
yeah,
think a lot of people, especially the people, the business people and the teachers, the educated circle,
yeah,
they started to do yoga. So
yeah.
it's a great thing. Like I don't know when I gonna start, but I
No, there is another
thank you.
reason. There another reason there because one is spiritual. The other reason is most of the poor people can be healthy without really running to the hospitals and all because they are not there. I was in Kathmandu almost because one of my cardiology teachers he was living there
Yeah.
in Kathmandu from India. So I was going to see him, but then schedule did not work, and so I had to cancel at the last minute. But there was other reason I wanted to see Kathmandu was Tibetan Buddhism is also very active there. There's a lot of spiritual work done in the high plains of Nepal and Tibet and Kathmandu especially. So
About if
yeah,
you go from Kathmandu towards, a
yeah,
different part of not the city inside, if you walk a little bit, like maybe
yeah,
10-15 minutes, you start to drive and you see all the stupas and all these things on the little bit of higher mountain, and
mm,
it's really, really amazing.
mm,
There is the one place called Purping, that's 11 kilometers
mm,
towards the Singali temple. That's a goddess, very beautiful goddess, god temple there. Then all the monastery and even in the outside, outbound of Kathmandu, there are a lot of monasteries, a
mm.
lot and lot, even there's a lot of things, and a lot of Buddhists, like, Buddha, right? So
Yeah,
Gautam
yeah,
Buddha,
of course.
he himself born there. So a lot of Buddhism activity happens there, and even like Modi, I think Narendra Modi, he went to Lumpini last couple of years before
Yeah,
the day of Buddha Jayanti.
yeah.
And but yeah, there's a lot of things. I'm surprised he's there because if you talk this much
No, I
about,
know, I know.
meditation and all these things, it's a
No,
place
no,
to visit.
no,
Honestly.
no. I know about Lumbini. I know about Buddha. I quote him quite often. Studied
Yeah,
extensively and understand what he's about. So what he
yeah,
talks about the Shunya is this Hindus talk about Purna, completeness, and so
yeah,
there's a lot of
yeah,
thousands of years of debate happened between Buddhists and Hindus. So we know about
yeah,
the arguments and all that. But even now, Dalai Lama, actually, he follows the Nalanda Institute, the ancient university in India that was like a big.
Dharmasthala. He said
Uh,
Dharmasthala, right?
no, no, he lives in Abhal now, but he learned the
Yeah,
Nalanda tradition. That is the university old time, and that carried on a lot of
yeah,
these teachings. And Buddha himself, he is solution of the sorrow. I still think that is a very right one. What he was talking about. Anyway, that is the
yeah,
glory. That's the glory I'm talking about. Inner glory that Buddha and other people found for solution of the sorrow. That is there within all of us. That's what Vivekananda. When I started talk today, I was making an observation when Vivekananda returned from United States. He talked to the Indians and told them, "You should be discovering your own spiritual glory that is within you." And he wanted them to awaken to that. That's the title of this talk to.
Doctor, I'm really surprised that, when Buddha was born 2500 BC, and that time he was like a prince. He got everything, and
Yeah,
he was, his father was a king and prince. That time, he
yeah,
realized that this money, all these things is not important.
yeah,
Self-understanding in life is very important, and it is becoming more popular these days that when I go to the clubhouse here and there, they all talk about that story. All talk about gratitude, gratefulness, and thankfulness, and
yeah,
really interesting, isn't it?
No, 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 this is the truth because the modern living is producing a lot of
Yeah,
tension, lot of worry, and also people are looking for answers, and then they are rational, they are practical. They will take it, and then I don't think actually I say you got to go within you and find answers for yourself to handle the stress of this modern society. I live in America. I live in American
yeah,
life, but I only embrace American strengths. I don't embrace the weaknesses. But then
got it.
when I bring spiritual truths to my friends they embrace them. They embrace them, and because I'm not asking them to convert to any religion, I only tell them what could be beneficial for them, and they appreciate it very much because a lot of people are in a lot of sorrow in different ways. That's why I come
Yeah,
on.
I know. It's yeah, because we talk about America, Australia, Canada. These are the new countries. Of course, it's like people progress. They came from all over the world, different parts of the world, and
Yeah,
new countries. And we talk about they are all there, like history. Like when there was no New York, there was no Sydney, there was the Kathmandu city. They developed many hundreds of years ahead, right? So
yeah.
yeah, a lot of things like olden places. We can learn a lot of things in old places. Like if you go to Kathmandu, you see the history of the mass, a lot of but you can especially for art and all these things, which you can't see anywhere, right? So
Mm.
these are the important things,
Yeah,
which we
very
have to learn.
important, very important. And we are seeing the effects of just
Yeah.
reductionism, materialism. A lot of people are having a lot of suffering. But then one thing about in America is people are sincere. If they don't like it, they will tell you don't like it. But if they like it, they embrace it with both hands. Many of my patients showed me that how interested they are when they are brought here to these principles in a reasonable way, and you got to make them understand a little bit. But after that, I found them very sincere, and nowadays I don't see any particular country anymore because we are all in one planet, one world. That's why for me it's very easy to talk to anybody. So anyway, I was doing this series. This is the fourth day we're doing it. We'll do altogether 10 days. Tomorrow will be another subject. I'll pick it up and will bring it to you. I think I will stop it here and then I'll see you back tomorrow at 6 o'clock again. Thanks, Santosh. Thanks, Jacob. Thanks, everybody, on the wisdom.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.